What's up Summoners, and welcome back to another ProGuides Wildcard video. My name's Terry, and for today's video we have 5 new OP builds for you. These builds are insane, so make sure to abuse them if you want to get some free LP. First on our list comes Graves. He's been buffed and supplied with new items this patch and is on the rise. His early game damage got tuned down a bit, but all in favor for better scaling. Once he gets an item or 2 Pyro Spike, he's going to really hurt a lot. However, with this build, he also packs a punch on his very first item. Going any crit first is expensive and loses us a lot of early game damage unless we happen to be lucky and crit with most of our auto attacks. Chances are, that's not going to happen. Thinking about it this way would lead to the conclusion that going crit early feels more like flipping a coin rather than trying to stabilize the game. To make sure we're not unlucky with crit, we can just build Youmuu's Ghost Blade first. After that, build a Mortal Reminder, Infinity Edge, Solari Charge Blade, and Navori Quick Blades. The Ghost Blade will grant us additional mobility and brief attack speed steroid, which helps with our unique reload interaction and time between shots. Infinity Edge will grant us a lot more attack damage, and the Mortal Reminder will just make sure we're not stopped by any kind of armor. In addition, because we'll be dealing a lot of area effect damage, we'll be able to apply our Mortal Reminder passive on a lot of champions at the same time. Solari Charge Blade just makes sure that we'll have a lot of crit chance throughout trading, and Navori Quick Blades will sustain us with even more mobility and damage in the later stages of the game. You can also go Navori first into Solari Charge Blade, but that's the build that feels a little bit more coin flip but also seems to be super rewarding. In the boots department, you want to take defensive boots with a Proto Belt enchant, as it makes sure that you'll always be able to reach your target, no matter the circumstance. For runes, you want Conqueror, Brutal, Hunter Titan, and Mastermind. It might take some time to get used to how Graves plays, but with enough practice you can definitely carry a lot of your games. One of the most interesting things about Graves is the fact that you can actually pick him in lane and jungle. The lethality starter doesn't feel as good in the lane as it does in the jungle. You just don't have to walk around that much, so crit feels more natural. Especially if you think about gold income, laning grants you more gold than jungling unless you happen to get a ridiculous amount of kills. So I myself am curious about how Graves develops throughout the patch and if he'll be played as jungler or as a laner. Before we continue with today's video, make sure to check out our Discord in the description below. Regular giveaways, community interaction, and a lot of community organized events are waiting for you down there, so make sure to stop by. Next on this list comes Lucian, and yeah, he's one of the most popular champions this patch. His impressive gameplay and goal to demolish the enemy just feels too good to be left alone, so to make sure that you can always stay one step ahead of your competition, you should consider adapting our build. Let's start with the runes. Take Conqueror, Brutal, Hunter Titan if you're facing a lot of crowd control, or default to Carapace and Sweet Tooth. For items, you want Infinity Edge, Zerail's Grudge, Navori's Quick Blades, Solari Charge Blade, Bloodthirsters, and defensive boots with either a defensive enchant or Proto Belt. Now let's talk about why those items, and not Essence Reaver into Solari Charge Blade. The Essence Reaver build requires you to be close enough to auto attack. This cannot always be guaranteed. You do the most DPS thanks to the super high crit chance while you're weaving in spells and auto attacks. However, you lack the ability to influence and determine fights from range. Another neat bonus from IE's Zerail build is the fact that you can literally one-tap people that are out of position, and you can set up plays by slowing enemies with your culling. Zerail's Grudge slows the enemy every single time one of your culling shot hits. Even better, your second ability now also provides the full utility for you and your team. Don't get me wrong, both builds have their use, but heavily depends on the team you're facing. Now let's take a small break for our question of the day. What's your favorite item this patch and why? As per usual, let us know in the comments down below. Next on this list is Xayah. She's the queen of extended fights and welcomes everybody who charges at her with a heartfelt greeting in the form of a million feathers. For her runes, you want to take Conquer, Vampirism, Hunter Titan, or adapt the Carapace and Sweet Tooth. Item wise, we want Essence Reaver, Mortal Reminder, Infinity Edge, Navori Quick Blades, Ruinous Hurricane, and either Lucidity Boots or Glutinous Greaves or Defensive Enchant. We don't want to build Solari Charge Blade on Xayah, as she's primarily focused on auto attacks and not spell weaving. Therefore, we'll find little value in the item and would rather go Ruinous Hurricane. This item makes your second ability hit 3 people at once. That's a lot of damage. For Navori Quick Blades, it's important to mention that this item will grant us nearly permanent active second ability and a lot of blade colors throughout the fight. This way, the enemy team cannot mindlessly charge into us, and if they do, they'll quickly die as a response. Another reason why we don't need to go an early item Zeal is the fact that we have an inbuilt attack speed steroid in the form of our previously mentioned second ability, and it turns out being more efficient in terms of damage is overall quite a good move if you ask me. For our next pick, we have something a little spicy for you guys. You all know about the boring Rod of Ages build on Twist of Fate, right? But what if I told you could play Twist of Fate as an on-hit? It's very high risk and doesn't really allow for many errors, but if you get used to it, you'll see its merits soon after. Let's talk about the runes first and the items later. Take Conquer, Brittle, Conditioning, and Sweet Tooth. Even though Conditioning isn't a solo queue rune at the moment, it's probably still the best for TF in that regard. The other options feel a little bit underwhelming unless you are facing a full AD team. For items, you want to take Trinity Force, Wit's End, Dead Man's Plate, Blade of the Rune King, and Storm Razor. This build is completely based on your movement and ability to maneuver the champion and access danger. You are very squishy and easy to kill, so make sure to pick up Exhaust at any cost. But when you do get into attack range, you slap them into the next game rather fast. Last but not least comes one of the major annoyances for patch 2.4, Fizz in the jungle. You don't want to meet the slippery fish, trust me, he hurts. But first, let's talk about items and runes. Run Electrocute, Brutal, Hunter Titan, or Adaptive Carapace in combination with Mastermind. For items, you want Rabadon's Death Cap, Lichbane, Void Staff, Infinity Orb, Morello's, and Lucidity Boots with Stasis Enchant. The clear is quite nice and easy with the buff second ability. Your playstyle is focused on being an assassin, patiently waiting for your moment to strike. Even better for this pick is the fact that you can engage plays from super high distances. Just using your ultimate with the Rabadon's Rush, you'll literally one-shot squishies with a combo. This build is 100% based on carrying the game through damage, so you need to learn how to use your damage in order to carry. It'll take some time, but I'm confident that you'll be able to do it. And with that, we're at the end of today's video. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel to never miss anything ProGuides ever again. See you guys next time, stay safe and have fun.